All right. So anyway, while we are waiting for Facebook, we're having some issues. I think it's probably has something to do with the hurricane. But let's try this. And in three, two, one, hopefully, I think we're live. We're live, buddy.
Oh my goodness. We're
Yeah.
live? So
Finally,
the hurricane didn't
yes.
stop us, is what you're trying to say.
No.
It
I
slowed
hope
us
for
down a
all.
little bit because we're 4 minutes late, but it didn't
Yeah.
stop us.
No. So hopefully everybody down in Florida is doing okay because it's quite the mess to say the least down
Yes,
there.
extremely.
Yeah. So I don't know how anybody's going to be coming out of that. I mean, they're literally saying, write your name on your leg if you're staying there. That's how
Just
bad it
like they
was.
did last time too.
Yeah. Yeah. Pretty much.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't know. It's just hopefully the best for all those folks down there.
There's a lot of
We'll see.
boozers down there, that's for sure.
Yes, there are. There are a lot. And so hopefully you guys make it out okay. We'll just keep watching the news, and there's nothing we can do up here other than throw our support towards them. But glad though that we are back on again. Um, you know, I was going to get Simeon Margaritas on this week, but he had a previous engagement. Got a couple other people. I think you were going to reach out to Rob, but I think he's busy with the photo with Expo in Europe. Is that correct?
Yep. Yep.
And James is down in.
In
Is he out there in
Florida.
London? He's in Florida, so we couldn't
He's in
get
Florida.
James. And so we've got some other people. It's just been really busy. I've been super busy with events out the wazoo.
Mhm.
Kids are back in school. I mean, that's all I touched on this last time. And just my normal 9 to 5 doing online marketing for a bunch of people. It's been crazy. But something that we see it a lot that people are frustrated. I have a lot of clients that I deal with that are in the photo booth industry, and everyone is seeing a difference from this year to this year from last year. Leads
Right.
aren't coming in as much, and I think it has something to do with the economy, right? I
Well,
think there's
I
that's
think
election year.
I think it's the election year.
Could
And
be.
I've seen this before in past election years. The
Mhm.
closer you get to elections, like I want to say from like June on, it kind of gets a little wonky.
That's something I still don't
Um,
understand, though. I personally don't pay attention to election years. I'm business as usual. What is it in the psychology of a human being that thinks to themselves, "Hey, um, I'm not going to do this, or I am going to do that because it's an election year"? Like, is it? That's something that I'd love to understand. I just don't understand it.
yeah, I mean, I've seen psychology reports and things like that. Unlike George's, psychology post that he had up earlier today. I don't know if you saw that one.
I
He
did not
posted
see that.
he posted this slice of pizza and said, "I wonder what this psychology report would be." And I posted on it,
George,
"You're nuts." So my
George is the
buddy
best.
George,
He's got the most random stuff that means so much at the same
I
time.
know.
But yes, I still don't get it. One day I will. I was not a political science major, um, but it doesn't affect me. Just the
Well,
way it is. But
it's also the economy right now too. You
it
know,
is tight. Yeah, I was talking to somebody else about that.
you
Yeah,
got
it is tight.
inflation. People don't, people and companies just don't have that extra money to,
Mhm.
fork out as much, or at least
Right.
that's kind of what I'm seeing and hearing.
hmm
Um, so I don't know.
I guess. I guess. Yeah. So I guess the overall mentality right now. There's a lot of people that I'm dealing with that are like, "Where are the leads? Where are they at?" And
Right.
I think that's part of the answer. And then the other thing is the topic of the show, right? A lot of people are getting into the photo booth industry. And I clickbait, pure clickbait, everybody. Is the photo booth market saturated? And there is an argument for that. I think that not the industry as a whole isn't. There's plenty of business out there. I think it's where you're at, what type of service you're offering, the quality of service. I will say though, the 299 drop off rental. is it's everywhere.
Yep.
And so what I think about that is that's great for this situation that we have right now where people are a little bit more thrifty. But if you have 10, 15 people in the same market doing the same exact thing with
Hmm.
the same exact booth, with the same exact content on their websites, does that point to saturated, right? For that particular sector of the photo booth industry.
I could see where people think that would cause a saturation, but I think it all falls back to your marketing to the customers that you want.
Yeah.
You know, is there a market for the 299 booth? Absolutely.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, there is.
Is there a market for the $1,000 booth? Absolutely.
Hmm.
So I mean, it's just
Yeah.
like going to a car dealership. You go to three different car dealerships looking at the same car.
Hmm.
There's a sticker price on them, but some are going to give you a little bit more, some maybe not.
Yeah. Yeah. But
Yeah,
I do see it in certain markets though, Dave. I'm going to point one out in particular, Los Angeles. It is flooded with the promise, the dream of a a full time income
sure.
that can bring you full time at a 299 booth, but there's too many of them, and they're all clawing for the same clients. I'm
So
hearing from the ground there that it's rough. Like they're
right.
buying this inexpensive iPad photo booth um,
Yep.
with somewhat of a promise that it's a great side hustle, which it is a great side hustle if you run it right. But
Mhm.
they buy this machinery and they're like, you know, do money, make me, and they have no idea how to run a business. Some of them don't have websites. Um,
Well, and
they're
that's part of the issue is you have a lot of people that they thought they saw a photo booth at a party. They thought, oh, this is a lot of fun. Let me
Mhm.
buy one, and I'm going to make all this money because that person that was at that other party, must be making a killing, and they buy it thinking I'm going to, it's a low entry point,
Mhm.
you know,
Yeah, it's a low
for
risk,
and it's low risk. And if they invest $1,000, which
less.
really, $1,000 gets you a lot of booth nowadays. If
Yeah,
you're buying on the Amazon or
you can
Alibaba,
buy a photo booth on Amazon of an iPad photo booth for $399.
right, right.
Yeah,
And
so they're
if you're lucky enough to rent that out one time, you
you make your
know,
money back.
you made your money back. So people
Mhm.
look at it, oh, well, I made my money back. The rest will just be profit. But they don't realize, that you need to be insured. You need
Mhm.
to pay taxes depending on your state or
Yep.
country or wherever. Because we do have people that watch this internationally.
Yeah.
But that's the thing is, there's things that are in the background that people don't realize. Um, Now, are there certain tax breaks for new businesses and things like that? Absolutely.
Depends upon
Um,
where you're at.
yeah, yeah. But I mean, even the government itself, has tax breaks for, women-owned businesses, minority-owned businesses, new businesses in general. You can get tax breaks, so it can be profitable, yeah. But
Yeah.
the problem is people just think that people are going to call them and they
Yeah.
don't know how to market it.
They don't
They
know how to
think, okay,
market.
well, I'm just and there are people out there that just say, well, just post something on Facebook, or Facebook Marketplace, or
It
I
helps.
I rented hundreds of booths because I put stuff up on Facebook Marketplace, and I see them. I mean, because I look in the marketplace all the time
Yeah.
for good deals, for like maybe a used printer, and right now I see 50. I could bring up 50, probably 360 booths that people are selling.
Oh my God. Yeah.
You
I mean,
know,
they're renting 360s for $200, Dave. for an event
I know.
on Facebook Marketplace. I mean,
Yeah.
these people are just desperate to get their money back or get some kind of business
Right.
going. But there were some of these, yes, they were at a party, but I'm gonna call it out. There has been a flood of the promise of the dream on YouTube, right?
Well,
There's
that's been that way for a long time.
it's more than ever. And if I was actually, and I questioned that today, what you're saying is more,
Mhm.
it's grown exponentially.
Sure.
There's more videos now on people selling that dream on
Hmm.
YouTube than ever.
Yep.
And it's just kind of like you watch these videos, and I talk to these people who have purchased these photo booths
Hmm.
because they've watched some of these videos, and they come to me and they're like, "What do I do?" And I'm like, "Well, you've got to have a website. What's your sales process like?" "Oh, I didn't think about that." Or uh, Google Business Profiles. Well, now, like, there's a lot of people having problems getting verified on Google. They're
Right.
actually requiring you now to do a video. It's for everybody. You have to do a video showing your business,
Right.
and you have to have business documentation. It's not just, hey, I'm going to pick up a photo booth and I can get a Google Business Profile. Now you actually have to like register with the state, register with the federal, have an EIN, or else you can't get on Google Business Profiles now, which is good for people like you and me and the rest of us who are like legitimate businesses. Keeps
Right.
those guys out of it. And then hopefully they do grow their business to the point where they can afford to run a business like a business, and then they're allowed on Google Business Profiles.
Well, and
Um,
that's what you can be hopeful for.
yeah,
Um, that's unfortunately that's the part that a lot of people don't realize. You
yeah,
know, and now that $1,000 investment that they put out, or under a
you got to
thousand dollars,
work.
well, they're realizing that it's costing them more,
Hmm.
and they're like, well, how do I pay for this now? I put it on my credit card, or I want to expand, I want to do more. um but I've talked to many people who have bought like salsa booths and things like that. They don't do any printing. They just do social.
Yeah.
um there's a lot of DJs that use the salsa that give it away. If you book their DJ, they set up the salsa booth.
Yeah,
you
and
know
that comes part of the saturation too. You have more. It's not even just the salsa. They're going out and buying the booth off of
Sure.
Amazon, right?
Right.
And they're just saying, "Oh yeah, we'll tack it on to our DJ package." Now I've got the photo booth money, and
Right.
all of us, not all of them, but like a lot of people that have put time and effort into crafting their business on quality images, great composition, great lighting, overlays, perfect service. It's kind of dumbed down, and I think what's happening is the market's not saturated, but the expectation of what a photo booth is dumbed down. Now they're just like, we just got an iPad, we'll just throw it in the corner and it's all right. And I've been in that same mode myself. Where I'm
Well,
like,
people are making it more of a commodity than something
mhm,
that's unique.
yeah, and
You
it
know,
is. It's a commodity now.
right?
Like it's
Well,
everywhere.
not
In general.
in general. Yes, I
Yeah.
agree. But if you're going to sell it as, okay, I'm just going to be the cheapest because I want to get business, you know,
Mhm.
you're going to put all that extra effort in for a small return. And that's the thing that people don't realize is, the amount of hours that a lot of photo booth owners take to
Mhm.
prep for an event,
Oh my God, yeah.
to, load the
Perfecting
software,
software.
to set up the event, or pay somebody to, design the screens and the outputs and all that stuff.
Yep.
It's really, they don't realize that. you
Yeah.
know they think, oh, well, okay, I have an iPad, I can just throw an iPad in. They don't realize that, oh, well, I need software for it.
Yeah.
And that's a charge. It's either a
Mhm.
monthly charge, or per event charge. But you have to learn how to you need to learn how to use the software. and there's so many out there. And
Yeah.
then the other issue is how many people, buy these booths, select the first software they see, don't know how to use it. They have an issue at an event because they got
Oh, all the
poor
time.
Wi-Fi or poor cell, and then they've got an upset person, customer, that they're refunding that money. Well,
Yeah.
now XYZ photo booth is got a bad reputation because they did my event and couldn't finish the event, and they had problems all night long. And I hear that from customers all the time is, oh, we
Oh,
saw
yeah.
another photo booth company, and they it was down most of the night.
Yeah.
So if you're going to invest in this, I granted it's been a good business to us.
Very good.
But
because we work at it.
Correct.
And like this week, I mean, the last week and a half, actually, I since had a situation where I'm noticing the market getting flooded with the same exact stuff that I've been doing for a while. And I'm like, I've got to up my game. Right.
Right.
And I actually started off with DSLR, and I recently went and regressed to iPad for simplicity. And I squeezed as much I could out of that iPad with great lighting, perfect distance, making sure the settings are right.
Yep.
And I just, the quality of the photo, I've been somewhat happy with it. But I said, the customers, they don't really notice it that much. And they don't, because it's just a photo to most of the majority. So it gets by.
Right.
But I did a 50th reunion, let's say like 3 weeks ago. And I sent the gallery over to the event planner and or the primary contact person.
Right.
And it was the first time ever that somebody says, "Are these photos a little blurry?" They actually had an eye and could tell that it wasn't a real DSLR photo.
Right.
And I was just like, oh my gosh. Okay. Yeah. So it's some people are going to see that difference. So
Right.
what did I do? I
But
picked up my camera that I have held on the show a few times, and I'm like, that's it. I'm relearning, all the settings, everything. And I got myself a DSLR iPad booth.
Yep.
I'm moving back to DSLR.
Right. Well, and there
Not
are
all.
DSLR that you can run with the iPads, and
Yeah, that's
that,
what I've got.
right. And that is beneficial. I mean, I have my iPad booths, I have my DSLR booths. I mean, I personally, like the DSLRs over the just straight iPad booths
Yeah.
anytime. And then the 360s, people use the iPhones and stuff like that. I'm using, an actual GoPro for that stuff. And, I get complimented on the quality of the videos, at my events.
Or even I've and I don't have a 360, but I started like looking into it, and I'd go to this person's website and that person's website, and somebody mentioned to me about a bouncing thing. But once that was mentioned to me, and I was looking at all these sites, I could tell who had the inexpensive 360 booth because the photos were like bouncing as it spun. You know what I mean?
Not
And that was like with
necessarily.
one person on, and they weren't
Right.
jumping up and down.
Right. So, I mean, I will say when guests are really bouncing on mine, it will move the arm.
This was
Obviously.
one person, and they were just going like this, and the
Right.
arm. I mean, you could tell it was a cheaper quality
Right.
360. Like that to me stood out because it was just like boing, 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 boing.
Right.
It was crazy. I was getting seasick. I needed to take Dramamine.
Well, and that's the thing is, it goes back to, buying, a 360 booth off of Amazon or Alibaba, that's mass produced, because we all see those videos, that show up on Facebook or wherever,
YouTube and TikTok.
50 or 100 of them sitting in a row in in the factory in China, getting ready to be shipped out.
Yeah.
And, a lot of them are, come to the US and Europe and all over.
Yeah.
And, people use them and then complain because, they get it and the ring light breaks after an event, or not even through an event, the ring light stops or the arm breaks.
Mhm.
There's many groups, because I'm in a lot of the 360 groups, and the Chinese created, groups also that, they kind of spam or knock off, the American groups. People think that they're actually
Yep.
in our groups here.
They'll do anything. They'll do anything to
And
get a piece of the pie.
it's funny because, I mean, like all the scammy posts that you see, and I know we're getting off track, and I do apologize to
No,
anybody
this is awesome.
But,
I don't like to ride
but
trains.
I see these posts, and a lot of the people that I've banned from here, hey, send me your company name and I'll create a logo for you for free.
Yep.
Those they pop up all the time.
Sure.
And it's just funny. But they don't do anything about it. Like, they don't remove them. So, like, every fifth post you see in those groups are, hey, send me your logo, or send me your company name and I'll create a logo for you.
That's great. We should just go post in there just some funny stuff just to mess with
Oh, yeah.
them.
Well, people,
And let's give a piece of their
post
medicine.
all kinds of crazy stuff in those groups.
I bet.
And it's funny because I see people, that are asking like legitimate questions because they're having a problem, with their flash,
Their equipment.
or their equipment. And you don't see any response from these Chinese companies saying, oh, well, yeah, I see you bought that from me, let me reach out to you.
Nope.
It's well, where can I get this piece that broke off my 360 booth? Is there somewhere where I can get that? Well, yeah, it's a critical part from your 360. You should reach out to the Chinese manufacturer. Oh, well, they don't get back to me. Well, that's because they already have your money.
Yep, they already got it, and they're on to the next.
They don't care. They've moved on to the next, the next person.
Some of them are good. Some of the companies are good. I mean, I've purchased some stuff from China before, and it was a side business that I had for a very short time during COVID, and they messed up my order, and they shipped me a whole freaking new $1,000 worth of product.
Right.
Like, I was like, really? I didn't think they're going to give me anything. So you think that not all of them are bad. Not all of them are bad.
No,
I think this conversation, yeah, they're good.
But there's so many different factories now that are pumping this stuff out so cheap.
Yeah.
And then you've got circling back, is you do have the people that are on here saying, oh, you can get rich, you can do this, you can do that. Buy your photo booth from me, and I'll give you a lesson plan on how to be a $1 million photo booth company. And people are buying into this stuff, and it's the hard work. I mean, you got to put that $1 million might come, but at what expense? It doesn't come for free. You have to put the work in behind it, and you've got to have a social presence. I mean, especially nowadays, you've got to be on all the social medias. You've got to, I mean, you got to have a website, because, and, I tell this to people all the time, is don't use a Gmail address. If you're going to get a website, register, set up your email through your website with, like mine is dave@ismilepod.com, because ismilepod is my website, so now people know that, hey, it's Dave from ismilepod, .com, shameless plug there. And
I'm going to it right now. I'm going to book you. I've already booked you once, Dave. You don't have to sell me again.
No, so but people, it does tend to add a little bit more legitimacy than someone, you know, coming from a Gmail account where, you know, anybody can create a Gmail account, and someone could spam you from a fake Gmail account. You know, they could transpose a letter or add a number or something like that. You know, you know, it's art from, you know, art@gmail.com, and then, you know, instead of the R, they use a 3 or something like that. And people are like, oh, he changed his email, and then it's spam, and then you get
malware.
Yeah.
Then you have to desanitize your computer after that one.
Right.
But there's another legitimate reason for the business email, like david@ismilepod.com versus dave@ismilepod@gmail.com. And we talked about that in a few episodes ago.
We did.
With our expert from Google Business Profiles, was that it's more credible with Google itself when you're registering for Google Business Profiles. So it has more weight, and you know, there's not a lot of red flags that pop up.
It carries it in the background, which a lot of people don't realize is, you know, when you're setting things up, and you can set up a website very inexpensively nowadays, you know, with like GoDaddy or one of those sites.
Don't do GoDaddy.
Don't do GoDaddy.
That's a whole different. I've actually been thinking about this, so I've been helping a lot of people out, and I've been touching all these different website platforms.
I bet you've been touching them.
Oh, inside and out, baby. I had my rubber gloves on. I want to do a whole episode on just websites. But yes, you could get one from GoDaddy, right? But I'm gonna don't do a GoDaddy website.
Well, what I'm saying,
yes,
not
it's easy.
GoDaddy, it's like the build your own website type, you know, place.
Yes.
It doesn't necessarily have to be GoDaddy. I mean, you could buy a WordPress website and have it hosted anywhere, really. But those setting that up, I mean, you can essentially, they have the pictures already pre-done, and they have, you know, some of them have wording already.
They have templates that you can utilize to then just kind of put your own information in.
Right. And then, you know, you could always use, and if you watch the YouTube videos, you can become very proficient at it. You can use AI to write content for your website.
You can.
You know, I mean, I use AI, and then believe it or not, I use Grammarly to kind of scrub it a little bit. So you got, you know, I got the AI content, which, you know, there's sometimes I read stuff and I'm like, wow, I wouldn't have said it like that, but I like what it put out. And then I run it through Grammarly to kind of bring it into like people speak.
Yeah.
Because sometimes AI gives you, like, you know, it doesn't give you everything, you know. So
it uses the word, it's you can tell it's AI. Now let's talk. I know we're kind of gone way off the tracks here, but I just want to make sure that I'm going to address these things when you bring these things up, because this is what I do for a living, is online marketing and websites and SEO and Google Ads and all that kind of stuff. Be careful with AI writing content for your website. Google actually is able to sniff that out. So if you're trying to write stuff to rank on Google, you want to, Grammarly is a good second step, but the third step is actually just interject some of your own stuff in there and really humanize it. It'll be hard to rank, even more so as time goes on, with AI written content. But AI written content is a great start, Dave. Absolutely. If you don't have any ideas, it's like your first draft. First draft AI, second draft Grammarly, third draft is when you put your own sprinkles in it and humanize it for the final match. Now you've got some good content. Right. But it's still work. It's still work.
It is. But I mean, you can sit down and, you know, have the AI and Grammarly and tweak it yourself in 15 minutes. You could, you know, update things and really make it unique to yourself.
You know what the best part about that, Dave, is it's just getting started and just getting it done initially, because going back to the beginning of the conversation, and I wrote down these prices on this piece of paper. I literally did the research beforehand. $399 for a
Mhm.
for an iPad photo booth, $699 for a 360. Fine. You do it, you get into the business, but you have to put some work in there after.
Right.
And that includes upgrading your equipment over time.
Yep.
Because, nothing wrong with the side hustle, right? That's how I got started. It was a side hustle, but I didn't stop and just kick the machine and say, make me money. I kept working at it over and over. And then I didn't stick with the initial photo booth I had. I upgraded and I upgraded and I upgraded over time as I matured in the industry and I
Well, and
understand business.
that's how I got started. I mean,
Yeah, we saw
I
your
started out with an eBay photo
yeah,
booth, and
yeah.
then then I went to DIY version for a while. Then
Mhm,
I realized that I wanted something that looked really professional, and I bought a manufactured booth,
mhm.
and obviously a lot of this was before the styles that you see nowadays were even thought of.
Yeah. So it's just, I just feel for some of these people who have
Yeah.
purchased this dream. Um, and I'm trying to help, a few of my clients. I've got one who's a Hollywood actor. Okay. Extra. He's been in a couple things on Netflix, a major TV show, just as an extra and in small bit parts. But
Right.
the Hollywood industry is hurting so bad that even A-list actors are taking B and C list jobs, right? And so this
Right.
guy's coming, he's like, man, I need to do something. So he started this photo booth business, and he has the best personality. Like this is like, if you're watching this, you know who you are. Um, this guy is just like the prime person that would be the life of the party with a photo booth, right? And so I'm just doing my best to just help him grow this thing from the ground up.
Right.
And it just, but when I look at that, whether you're famous or you're not famous, doesn't matter. There's a lot of people out there that like this, that bought the equipment in the beginning, kind of just like you and I, except you had entertainment experience, event entertainment and experience.
Sure.
Um, but they don't think about the business plan. They
Right.
don't think about advertising. Um,
Well, they don't think
and
about a
so
lot of things because nobody told them anything.
they told them how
You
to
know,
buy a booth.
they told them how to buy a booth, but that was about the extent of it.
Yeah.
They
Mhm.
they didn't they didn't have somebody. I mean, I had people. I already had a business before I started my photo booth business.
Yeah.
So I kind of had an understanding. And when I first started my photo booth, I did a lot of things wrong, but
Oh, hell yeah.
I learned from other people,
Mhm.
um, from going to conferences and things like that, and just asking
Educating
questions,
yourself.
you
Mhm.
know, asking
And
questions. And then, luckily after I got things rolling, I was the person answering a lot of those questions. And, there's a lot of people that are in the industry today that, are making seven, 5, 6, 7 figure numbers that, I helped out,
yeah,
when they were starting. And
but it wasn't overnight, was it? It took a lot of
it
work on
was
that
not
part.
overnight. It wasn't.
Yeah.
And they put in amazing effort to get to where they are today, doing doing events for people,
Yeah.
for big corporations, for the corporate stuff, and
And
multi-city and everything like that. So
mhm.
it was it doesn't happen overnight, and that's what people don't realize, that
Yeah.
they need to take a step, and you know if you're not sure, ask questions. Find somebody
Yeah.
that is in the industry and ask.
Yeah. So I guess
You
the
know,
answer, Dave, is the photo booth industry saturated? The answer is yes, but it is not saturated with hard workers. It's
I
not. It's not saturated with hard workers because there's a
it's
lot of people not doing
correct,
well. Yeah.
correct.
So do you want to be in which side of the fence you want to be on? The just kick a machine and make money, or do you want to do some work? if you're on the hard worker side and you do put your nose to the grindstone and you put the effort in and you evolve with it and you hustle and you have the patience for the long term dream and you keep trying to find that right audience, right? The corporations, you may not find them for a good year. You may find them in 2 weeks. It depends upon where you live and your connections and
Right.
how hard you work to find them. It is achievable. So I just wanted to make sure we got back to that original part of the post where I said, is the market saturated or the industry saturated? I say no, but it is saturated. I say it is, but it's not saturated with the hard workers. That's what I think. I'll stand
Well,
by that.
yes, I agree. But
Who
part of
apply
the problem
themselves.
is people have taken the industry, in my opinion, to a point where it's not unique like it used to be.
Mhm.
You know, the people that are making those big numbers are the ones that are creating a unique opportunity.
And
So
experience.
the experience, correct.
Mhm.
And they're not, you could have 50 photo booth companies or 360 companies, near each other, but what makes each one of them different? You know,
Yep.
is it the way they market? Is it, their output? Sorry. Um,
Mhm.
is it, the staff that they have? What is the experience? Because you're going to get, from 50 different companies, you're going to get 50 different, outputs. You're going to get 50 different experiences. You're going to,
Mhm.
you're going to have all that.
Yeah.
So it's what you want to make out of it or what you want to
Yep.
put into it to get out of it.
Yeah. Like down to composition. I can't tell you how many photos I've seen from other companies. There's headroom, right? Like for those who are not watching, eventually go to this video. I'm crouching down, right? And this is the picture that they're getting, right? There's so much freaking headroom between the subject and the
Mhm.
photo. They don't know how to compose pictures. They don't know how to use lighting. They're sitting on a chair looking on their phone instead of standing up and inviting people in or
Yep.
interacting with them and smiling. Just smiling goes a long way when you're operating a photo booth.
Well, and
Um,
that's the thing is, the smiling is part of the
I
experience.
smile pod. That's why you're I smile pod, Dave. You're all about
That's
the
it.
smiles.
I smile all the time. And when people ask me, how are you doing? I always tell them with a smile on my face, I'm doing great. You know, have I had bad days? No. Have I had times during a day that kind of sucked? Yeah,
Hmm.
but I'm still here, you know. The sun still comes up tomorrow and, hopefully God willing I'll open my eyes and see my family and friends
Yep.
and, you know, it could be worse, and I feel as though I'm blessed in so many aspects of, like I said, just waking up. I'm a survivor from a heart attack a year ago, a little over a year
I
ago.
know.
I am glad to just be breathing right now,
Yeah.
and you put a lot of things in different perspectives. So,
Yeah, you
you know,
definitely do. Whether it's your own health or somebody else that you know you love passed away, or even our friends down in Florida, put that into perspective. All of us were crying about not having events, or which I'm fine, but like, just whatever it is in your day that you think you're having, a rough day. There are people in Florida right now that didn't have a choice to leave, that are going to be up to their ears and nose in water tonight as we speak. So be thankful that you're here.
yep. Well, and it's not just, a couple weeks ago, or what was it, last week,
Yeah, just a
through
week
you know,
away.
through Carolinas and Alabama and, Florida and all that came up through.
Mhm.
That was just devastating. I mean, I've seen so many videos of before and after of areas.
I wasn't
Yeah.
expecting North Carolina to get hit like that.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
crazy. And that's so far away from the coast. I mean, inland that
right.
far.
I
I mean,
know.
they're going
It's
through, and now the news is on Florida, and people are in North Carolina going like, "What about us?" It was just a
right,
week ago,
right.
so we can't forget them either.
No, no. I mean, there's people all over the southern half of the country that are struggling right now.
Yeah,
And my thoughts and prayers go out to all of you.
yeah,
Yeah, especially anybody in Florida right now. I hope because I know that storm's coming across, and it's not going to clear out probably till I think mid like 2 or 3 in the morning till it finally
right.
makes it across the state, from what I've seen in the news reports. But I mean, it's horrible. And you know, the nice thing about this community is, we always try and help each other out. So I mean, if there are boothers out there or whatever, and something happens, feel free to post something in the Photo Booth Network or
Yeah,
Photo Booth Magazine, and let's try and help each other out.
yeah, and it's just that's what we need to do. But again, this nothing we can do about that, but just wait till the dust settles and the water
Yep.
levels go down and see what we can do.
Yeah. Hopefully it's quick, and it blows over, and there's minimal damage, and everybody's safe,
Hmm.
especially all of our friends,
Yep,
because we do have a lot down there.
we do. We do. One of them that runs a major piece of software that runs a
Right.
good portion of the world's photo
For
booth
iPad photos.
curator right
Yeah.
down there. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I know I don't want to take too much tonight. I just wanted to kind of just open up a conversation on just some of the things that have been on top of my head. Dave, as always, it's great to get some clarification in my own mind based upon what you're saying. But I want to go back to a couple things. So equipment wise, we're not saying don't buy the stuff made in China. Don't, it's
No.
okay, but you're going
No.
to learn a lesson that you're going to want to buy from a US manufacturer, or a company that's here in the US that has good customer service. We've
Right.
got a few of them. Danny Max is one, Moby Booth's one. Even Photo Booth Supply Company, even though I think they've got probably the most, they do have a lot of support. There's a lot of great manufacturers here that support all of us that you should be
Well,
upgrading, upping your game to.
and there are some that actually offer um, a marketing plan that will help you.
Yeah.
There's
Hmm.
some that will actually help you set up a website if you're
Hmm.
buying from them. So, there are advantages. You have to do a little bit of homework.
Yeah.
Um, and it's definitely going to cost you more,
Yep.
but the support that you're going to have, you're going to have less headaches in the long run.
Yeah. Yeah, you are. They'll help you get up and running. They'll have spare parts, available for something that breaks in your photo booth. If you have a question about what camera you should be using, or what softwares you should be using with that photo booth, or what kind of lighting is typically, and they have user groups that you can
Yep.
join, and there's a whole community of people in these user groups. Once you've purchased their product, you get that VIP access to their user group.
Yep.
Um, I know all of them have it, right?
They
Movie Booth's
do.
got it. Max Design has it. I'm sure Photo Booth Supply Company has it, and
They
just rattling off
absolutely.
top three at least that you don't get with your overseas on Amazon purchase photo booth.
Right.
So once you've decided that you spent $399 on a photo booth and it is something that you like, trust us. And this is Dave, I'm going to speak for both of us. Trust us to upgrade at some point to something that's more substantial, because eventually you're going to need to differentiate yourself from the rest of the folks that have the same Chinese or wherever it's from Amazon photo booth that gives you more capability to sell, right, and make more money per event. So selling your drop off for $299 is good, but wouldn't you like to make so much more with having just that much higher of a product, right? I think that's
Yeah.
the crowd that isn't saturated yet. And I want all those people who are in the other one to truly think about that and try and up their game and challenge themselves to continue to find out they like, and if they like it, to up their game. That's the challenge because I'm not afraid of that.
Right.
I like to see people who are working hard in this industry.
And that's a very, very important thing that you said there. And you know, part of upping your game is the attending the seminars that you see, you know, signing up for trainings that you see from manufacturers and groups, you know, like photo booth marketing. You know, they have weekly webinars, you know, to discuss how to market your booth. And you know, so there are resources out there. If you don't know where to go, that will help guide you.
Yeah.
And I mean, I got to say, I've been doing booths for many, many years, and I love this business.
Me
I
too.
mean, and there is no other business that I know of that you can watch people smile and have a good time.
And get paid to do it.
And you get paid to do that.
Well, I can think of like one other industry, but I am physically not good for that industry. It's, you know, it involves
Yeah,
tips and dollar bills.
I know.
Not
I
me.
know.
Not me.
Yeah.
But you're right, Dave. We are so lucky. But just attending the seminars is good, but not enough. You have to apply something, at least one thing that you learn from each one of these seminars or something that you've read. Put it into play. And don't stop. Keep
there
going.
There are amazing podcasts out there, and
Lap and what Jason have a great podcast.
Yeah. That's what
Amazing.
Pro Photo Booth Talk.
Pro Booth Talk, man. I've got it on Podbean when I take my. I talked about this before.
Yep.
In the mornings, I'm walking my dog. I'm listening to their podcast. It's inspiring and gives me insights into stuff that I can apply to my business as well. Love it.
And that's it. But you gotta don't just listen to photo booth type. Listen to business podcasts. You know, Gary Vaynerchuk. You know, people that do different types of media out there.
Yeah. Different perspectives. Just in business in general. Sharon, yeah.
I mean, there's so many people that are out there that are putting content. Chit Chat Photo Booth. Yeah. You know, so there's invest in yourself by investing your time. It doesn't cost you anything for a lot of these streams and, you know, podcasts, and you can learn so much. I mean, I wish I could go back in time and still have this information when I first started, because, you know.
Well, it's still good now, Dave, because there's advanced stuff.
It is.
Like the people who are just getting now, they're going to watch the beginner stuff and they're going to finally catch up to like where you are. But there's stuff that's advanced that you're taking advantage now. So I mean, you're still benefiting tremendously from it.
There are people that are way more advanced than me out there, and
tons.
You know, and you know, I'm still learning, you know, this craft. I don't know everything, you know, so when I see seminars and things like that, I love to hop on. And if anybody knows of any good ones, please, you know, let me know. You know, if you're listening to a business podcast or, you know, a photo booth podcast or something that's out there, please, you know, let us know. You know, we want to expand our knowledge too.
Ace Waldor just commented in the Facebook group that James is going overseas. That's good news that he's not in Florida, so that's good.
Right.
At least we hope. We hope he got out there in time.
He posted a thing earlier in the group.
Okay, good. All right.
Yeah.
Hi, James. Safe trip over there.
Right.
But you're right. We're all learning something. So I talked about equipment, up your game, learning. We've talked plenty of that, and sales. It is so huge to work on your sales process. Always test things out. And I will always say, don't wait 24 hours to get back to somebody, because by that time they're already booked. Right. So get back to them immediately if they call you or
if you're not getting back to somebody within an hour,
10 minutes. 10 minutes.
Up to an hour. up to an hour, I think.
All right, fine, up to an hour. Okay.
You know, because I've gotten so with my website, when people go on and they put a request in for information, it sends me a text and an email with their contact information
Immediately, right?
immediately.
Yeah,
I mean,
same
as
here.
soon
My
as they
watch
hit
dings.
send, it pops up, and I'm on the phone to that person, and they're like, "Wait a second, I'm on your website. Yep, you just filled out the form. I got it."
Yep.
And they're like, "Wow, that was
That's where
quick."
the hustle comes in. That's the hustle.
And that's the hustle. But you also have to have a sales pitch to that person, because sometimes people are just shopping price.
Yeah.
And there's many times where I talk to people, I tell them our offerings, and then they're like, "Well, how much is so and so?" Well, this is how much we cost. And I give them the price, and they're like, "Oh, that's a lot." I understand. And I explain to people, I cost more than some and less than others.
Yeah.
This is where, I price my business for the offerings that we deliver, that I feel is fair. If you're looking for just strictly on price, then listen, I would continue searching. There's a lot of companies out in our area that are more affordable. And there's many times where I'll get a call back from that person. Yeah, I talked to 4 other companies and you're still the highest, but you responded to me right away. The other ones didn't get back to me, and you took time to explain, the experience, and we'd like to book you.
Yeah.
That's
That's the perfect way to do it.
right.
So I'm going to save some of my other points for another one, because I could just keep going. I can go on all night, just like I normally do, and I say that every show. I really could.
That's
But
because we have a lot of information that we always
so
we
much.
we want to get it out there, and we want everybody to but you know what, we have to keep things to ourselves too a little bit.
Yeah, we do
We have to save some for the
a
next
little
show.
bit.
We
Yeah.
we have to bring you in for another episode.
Yeah, and we're not all knowing.
Nope.
We've been around a little bit. We're still figuring stuff out. We're always going to be figuring stuff out, and anything that we can do with the time given in a day. There's only 24 hours a day. I get hit up all the time.
Right.
I'll try and give an answer. I'll try to give some advice, and sometimes I'm learning from the people who are newbies. I'm like, "Ooh, that's a really cool idea. I'm going to apply that to mine." So
Sure.
we're all learning from each other, just as always.
Well, and just remember to keep your mind open to things.
Yeah, I can be
Never,
bad at that sometimes.
never look at it, as a close, because what somebody else does may work for you, may not possibly work for you. But you have to explore and try things. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to fail, because you learn more sometimes from failing than you do. If you won everything all the time, you're not growing as
Don't be afraid to say no.
Don't be afraid.
to say
Definitely
no.
don't be afraid to say no. Or if you want to say yes, but you're not sure, reach out to somebody that you think might be able to help you. If you book an event and they want a photo booth here and one at another site, because we do have holiday parties coming up, say, listen, let me check availability, go out, reach out to some other companies, get a price, and then build your stuff out to cover their cost, and you make a little bit of profit.
Yeah. So, well, this is it. We're gonna close it out for tonight. That's it, man. I just wanted to just get some crap off my shit off my chest. Okay.
Mr. Potty Mouth.
Yeah, Mr. Potty Mouth. But I am. I'm looking into, hopefully by December, I'm going to download all the episodes that I've got, and I'm going to be looking for, I guess, just like what Lap and Jason are using. Podbean is a pretty good platform. I think I'm going to
Yep.
start uploading stuff onto there.
We've got a lot of media. You know, we have a lot of episodes, so
we do, but I don't have them all saved. So I'll have to check my computers where we save stuff and we use the last platform, and then this platform that I'm using now has all the episodes we've done on here. So we may not have them all, but they're forever live on YouTube, which is great.
Right. Well, we'll I can always download them from YouTube too. So
okay, yeah, that would be good. So
because I do have that capability.
Yeah. So upcoming episodes, I do want to talk about and I know we've got some guests that are going to be coming on, and we keep saying that they're going to be coming on, but we don't want to just throw up content on people. I don't want to throw up content and do it for the sake of doing it. I want to make sure it's good. But I do want to talk about that newbie stuff and what people should be doing in the very beginning. You know, I love our groups. You know, Photo Booth Community, Photo Booth Group, Network, Photo Booth Collab. There are some sharks out there that I see that are kind of that some people could easily purchase things that they shouldn't be purchasing before they should, in services wise, and a lot of that has to do with marketing. So I had a meeting with yesterday, and she's like, "I'm ready to do Google Ads." I said, "Okay, let's get on a phone call." And I said, "Let me look at your site. Beautiful site." But she just got her booth.
Right.
She still hasn't taken it out for an event yet. I'm like, don't do Google Ads first. And the SEO on her site wasn't quite there. I'm like, let's talk in a few months, right? First, we've got a bridal expo that she spent $1,000 for to be at this bridal expo next month. I'm like, do that, because that's gonna, like, if you start bringing in people and leads and you're not ready yet, you're not going to close those leads, and so that's going to be money wasted. So I said, let's start with the core and do these XYZ things first. And she was so grateful for that. And I felt good, not just trying to like say, hey, yeah, hire me for this. It's like, I don't want somebody to fail. I want somebody to get started right. So I'm going to splurge my brain on everybody on some of these things over the next few episodes as well. Hopefully it won't take a whole hour to do it each time. But that's something that people can look forward to. Is just, I'm going to pour my brain out on the table, and they can take a little mallet and smash it up and do whatever they want with it.
Well, we are coming up on Halloween, so you know.
Ooh, perfect costume. Halloween's on a Wednesday this year, isn't it?
I think so, yeah.
Ooh,
yeah.
We could do a Halloween show.
We could.
I think. Well, are you working that night?
Probably. I don't think I am Halloween night.
We'll see. Somebody's gonna be booking us for that night. It's Halloween night. You know,
I'll get something, I'm sure.
We'll see. All right, Dave.
All right, buddy.
All right.
Wonderful time.
Next time. Yeah. And for all folks in Florida and North Carolina and that whole southern part of US, good luck. We're got our prayers out for you. So we'll see you next time on the Photo Booth Magazine. Peace out.
Peace out.